Hi there guys! So today we'll be taking a look at my sound because some of you wanted to see my settings for Yngwie tones, but not only. And yeah, we'll be looking at this beast of an amp, which I bought 1 month ago, so I'm still discovering it, even though it has like 6 knobs. It's pretty complex, I gotta say. Alright, so let's get started. The thing with Yngwie is that he doesn't really use bass a lot, so even with the bass high up, you get lots of really bad low end. So the sound as it is right now, you can hear in the low end that it's not really, it doesn't have that chugga 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 awful sound, so it's really thin. Which also helps with this kind of playing, so and I guess let's try it with the bass, not necessarily way up, but at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Again, depending on whether I record a solo or some rhythm tracks, I may be you know, using some other bass settings, but I usually just let it at 9 o'clock or even at 0 all the way down. All the other settings, presence is at max, middle is at max because Yngwie sound has lots of mids. Treble, sometimes it's all the way up, sometimes it's as it is right now at 3 o'clock. And although the channels are jumpered, right now I'm only using the high treble channel because again the other one has a tendency to make things quite fat, but not necessarily in a good way, especially with this guitar anyways. Yeah, so this is all done, and again, yeah, the sound I usually use for Yngwie, at least for now. I forgot to mention the most important thing in this this whole sound is the Fender overdrive. I don't know if you can see it right there, the Yngwie overdrive. It really works a lot in this this whole thing. I think the level is currently at 9 o'clock and the gain is at 3 o'clock because it's really noisy, and especially where I'm standing right here right now. There's lots of magnetic fields from the amp, from the PC, because you can hear all this and this, even though I have a gate on. Yeah, so it's either I use the level way up on the overdrive or the gain, one of those two, and the other one quite low. Alright then, and even more important than the overdrive is the IR, because this amp is going in a load box, and the load box I'm using is the React IR, st.Rock React IR, which is down there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but you will have settings for everything right now on the screen. I'm currently using a G12-65 speaker. With the SM57 and some ribbon mic, 121 I think, I'm not even sure. As it is, it's kind of, it doesn't really have lots of mids, but I usually fix that when I'm mixing. The IR, the load box, is really awesome. I mean, It has many settings, and from my point of view it's even better than the Captor X for the price, because this is actually cheaper than the Captor X and has more things than that. I mean, it has a noise gate, some internal EQ, low pass filters, high pass filters, some resonance thing. I mean, you can hear right now as I'm turning up the resonance. Then we have reactive, loadbox, or passive. So reactive is the coil, and passive is the huge resistor inside. And well, I guess everybody knows that the reactive loadbox is better because it reacts like a speaker more than the resistor does, and it gives you all the frequency range, because you can hear right now as I'm playing the coil. It sounds alright, but when I'm switching to the resistor thing, it's just smaller sounding, and I mean, even the gain. I know it doesn't really make much sense, but it almost sounds lower gainish, and you will hear it right now. Back on. So yeah, and the signal goes straight into my PC where it's being recorded. There's no EQing at the moment with this speaker, with the G12-65. Only some reverb, I think, and maybe I will play with other things when I get to the final mixing stage. But really, you're hearing exactly what comes out of the loadbox. Alright then, so this is my main Yngwie sound, but, the big but, the loadbox again does everything DIR, and I will switch to another speaker, which is the G12-T75. I know many people think this is what Yngwie used back then, but actually I've done some research really quickly on the internet, and he seems to have been using the 65 in the early days, the Alcatraz thing, especially since the T75 sounds a bit tiny. I mean, the mids are even lower than the 65. But this is really awesome for Van Halen. And keep in mind, I'm not touching the EQ, I'm not touching the overdrive, I just switched to that speaker, and also there's some EQ going on there, some mids that are taken off, and some highs which are raised. But I think we can all agree that this is the Van Halen sound. That is if I properly tune the guitar. Okay, so here we go again. Yeah, so this is the sound I use for Van Halen, but this can be used with other players as well. I mean, it works for Dokken. It's great for this, it's great for, I don't know, Michael Schenker. Even Gary Moore. Yes, so I mean, this is kind of it. Depending on the song I'm doing and the overall mix, I might add some saturation because that really helps with it. I might take off some low mids and maybe raise even the lower frequencies. It depends on the bass and all that. But I'll make sure to leave you with some samples of things I've done in the past, some Whitesnake things, and you can hear that it's double tracked and it sounds huge. Just a small disclaimer, I know Van Halen didn't use any distortion pedal, or maybe he just used the Echoplex thing. Again, with this strat, with these pickups, the YJM's Furies, they're not really powerful, so you know, if I turn off the overdrive, this is all I'm getting. So you can see it's not really gainy at all, and I don't really have much power to do things. But turning this back on. Alright then, so I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, leave them down below. I'll happily answer all of them. And I guess if you have any suggestions for, I don't know, a review for the loadbox, if you want to see that, or for the amp, although this is really a one-trick pony. I mean, these settings are all I use right now, so yeah, I think you've seen pretty much all. Alright then, so stay safe, and I'll see you next time with some really awesome covers.